Today we're going to do some testing on ceramic brake pads. So these are common replacement pads that people utilize in order to keep the dust off their nice wheels. And there's always been a lot of discussion on ceramic brake pads about how they stop when it comes to initial bite, particularly when it comes to cold stop initial bite. That's the first brake of the day. You know, does the ceramic pad work as well as a normal, semi-metallic pad that the manufacturers use? By the way, a lot of manufacturers now are using ceramic pads, so that old argument may be an old argument, but let's test it out. So we're gonna actually we've never used the brakes on this car for 24 hours. We're going to test out if it can activate ABS on the first stop of the day. If it can, then you can't really request any more out of a pad. If it can't, then maybe there is a pad that could, and maybe the ceramic is not operating in the most optimal way it could. The pad that we're testing right now happens to be a PowerStop Z26 carbo ceramic pad. I guess they call them carbon fiber and ceramic or something like this, or carbon Kevlar, or who knows, but it's a ceramic pad. It's a common company. They're made by all different companies: Akebono, Hawk, even Carbotech makes one. I think EBC makes one, you name it. But these are different ceramic compounds that we'll be testing today on cold stop initial bite. All right, we're going to start this car up in the morning for the first time here. We're going to do complete cold stop braking tests. So we are literally not going to touch the brakes here until we need to. Turn the AC down here for this test. Here you see the fluids are at room temperature here in Florida, as cold as you can get, 86 degrees. And what we're going to do is not use the brake pedal here until we get out into our test roadway here. So we're just going to do coasting. Just do coasting. We're just going to kind of coast through this stop sign. It's all right here. It's a private road. We won't get in trouble for that. Keeping the foot off the brake pedal. But we got to get through this gate here before it closes. Okay. And we're just going to creep here in transmission creep mode here. Shouldn't be any traffic, shouldn't be any traffic, not any traffic, not any traffic. Okay, we're doing good, we're doing good. I didn't know if we'd be this successful in not being able to use the brake for a single second here. So when I say these brakes are cold, they are going to be cold. Okay. No turning, no brakes, no brakes. Okay. Got one more road to get to here. And the interesting part here is that the tires are going to be very cold. So this is extreme scenario brakes. This is not how magazines would test them. I think magazines gets around, 97 to 104 feet for stopping from 60 mile an hour on this car. If we can get close to that, that will be great. Ooh, just braking, braking, braking. No braking. Oh. And okay, this is still the same area that we're in. We're still have not used the brake pads. We've just been using the transmission to brake. This is still going to be the first stop of the day here. So, first stop of the day. I'm gonna not use the brake pedal when I turn. So, all right, we're gonna get up to 60 mile an hour here. All right, ready? And let's stop. And we did. And we'll see what that is. So what do we take away from that is that, as you could hear, the ABS kicked in immediately. So that was a cold brake, cold pad, hadn't been used in 24 hours, so it doesn't get any colder than that. Cold rotors, and why you heard the ABS also kick in right away is cold tires. So what you're seeing then, the limitation from 60 to 0 mile per hour stops, or any stopping, the limitation is going to be your tire grip. And that's obvious because, as you heard, you could hear ABS kicking in immediately. And as soon as you hear ABS kicking in, I don't care what pad you have on the car, you could have the brake caliper welded to the rotor. It's not going to stop the car any faster because you've lost grip between the tire and the road surface. So if you can get the pad to break tire traction between the tire and the road surface, that's all you can ask out of a pad. You can't, it cannot do any more than that. And this pad does that bone cold, first stop of the day. It will overbrake the tires, cold, first, absolute brake, pulling out of your, garage, onto a busy 2-lane road, and you need to panic stop. And it does it enough that you are getting full ABS throughout the stop. So that's again all you can ask for. There's rumors and speculation from folks who've never bothered to even test them that the cold pads that are ceramic compound. I don't know why it would be a specific pad, but ceramic pads have a bad reputation, period. Whether, it doesn't matter what company if they're from, Hawk or Centric or Powerstop or Carbotech or Akebono. I've used ceramic pads from literally all of those manufacturers, and the complaint is that they don't have the cold bite. And that was a very valid complaint 20 years ago. I was one of the first people to test the Carbotech Bobcats, which was a 1521 pad 20 years ago before that company, and that was my complaint. I mean, I literally was very close to getting in an accident with those pads, but a lot has changed since then in the development of pad compounds. Even these pad companies, the performance ceramic compound, or the ceramic carbon fiber compound, or the metalloceramic compounds, or all these compounds, they change them slightly year to year, thinking that even you have the same pad that you bought 2 years ago for your same car. Oftentimes those compounds are tweaked as they develop these pads. The manner in which, of course, they connect them to the backing plates get better and better. So a lot of pad technology improves over the years, and as we can see with these ceramic pads of today, when you push the pedal and they're cold, so cold stopping, they work now. So this is great for ceramic pads. This happened to be testing on the powerstop Z26. I wouldn't be surprised if most ceramic pads stop as well as this one cold. I'd be surprised if one company is lagging tremendously behind. Like I said, I had a bad experience testing with another company. That was 20 years ago. I'd be shocked if their pad doesn't stop every bit as well as this one nowadays. Everybody, kind of steals from each other, learns from each other. This is just the industry and how it works. Is you try to progress any which way, and they've all progressed, quite well. There's really not secrets, because you can just buy your competitor's product and reverse engineer it. So so these are great pads for. Obviously cost should really probably not be a huge consideration when you're talking about brake components. For me, I've got I don't know, probably $80 worth of fluid in this car, so the pad price I really could care less about. I just choose a pad that works for me for what I want, and during normal street driving, I like a pad that is dust-free, very quiet, stops every bit as well, as any other pad, and no noise, and this works for me in this application very well. I've tried it on literally probably a dozen cars now, and so it just works very well. There's other ones that do also, and of course when I'm going out on a lap day at a track like Sebring, where you regularly get up to 160 miles an hour and then break down, I will put a more appropriate pad for that on the car. So I use a specific pad for that application. I'll use like a DTC 70. Also have experience, using G-locks and pads from Endless, but can't use them on this car. But anyway, that's my information. Okay.